You won't believe this, but I swear it's true. I'm Olivia Moore, an ER nurse on the graveyard shift at St. Jude's, the big hospital downtown. I've worked nights there for 7 years, seen every kind of mess you can imagine. Blood, broken bones, screaming relatives, you name it. I know this place like the back of my hand. I'm the one who always double checks meds, triple checks charts, never takes shortcuts. You could say I'm cautious, maybe even a little too strict. Especially about the elevator rule. I never ever ride the hospital elevator after midnight. Everyone knows the rumor, but I never cared. Just ghost stories, nothing real. Until last Friday. It started at 12:05 a.m. I was finishing up with a patient on the 5th floor when the trauma team paged me. A massive car crash victim arriving in 10 minutes. Critical condition. Upstairs in ICU. We needed to move equipment fast from the supply basement. The only way was that impossible elevator. All the stairs from where I was took twice as long. My heart hammered like a drum. I knew the rule. I cursed my luck and stepped in. The doors slammed shut and the lights flickered. At first, it was normal. The elevator hummed quietly and the floor numbers clicked past. But then it didn't stop on any floors I knew. Instead, it kept dropping deeper, past B1, B2, then something I'd never seen. B7. The doors slid open like a cold breath escaping. The air hit me, stale, damp, like a nightmare. Faded hospital beds lined the walls, rusted IV stands wobbling, old monitors cracked and silent. Shadows flickered just beyond my sight. I swear I caught glimpses of faces behind dusty windows, eyes wide, mouths open in silent screams. Then I saw her, the elevator operator. She was barely more than skin and bone, with eyes that burned ice and hands that trembled like dead leaves. "Welcome," she whispered, voice cracked like old vinyl. "You're late." My chest squeezed. My lungs burned. I wanted to scream, but the words died inside me. Around me, faint whispers filled the air, the moans of others caught here. Patients, nurses, doctors, ghosts trapped in this limbo, still hooked up to machines, still begging for help that would never come. She told me the truth. Anyone trapped here after midnight becomes part of this endless nightmare. Caretakers, condemned to serve the forgotten dead forever. My hands shook so hard, I merely dropped the oxygen tank I was clutching. I slammed the elevator buttons, but they didn't work. The doors slid closed slowly, a cold finality wrapping around me like chains. A chill crawled down my spine and settled deep in my bones. I realized something awful. This was only the start. The hospital's shadows held more secrets than I ever imagined. That night shattered everything I believed. What I thought was just a spooky story, some dumb hospital myth, turned into a living nightmare. I don't know if I'll ever get out, and I don't know who's really alive anymore. But I have to try, because if I don't, I'll become part of that darkness too. Before all this, before that nightmare elevator ride and the cold breath of forgotten floors, I had a life I thought I could hold on to. A real life. One with people who kept me steady when the chaos at St. Peter. We've logged 1,000 midnight shifts together, running trauma codes, swapping war stories, and pulling each other back from burnout. His laughs loud and rough, A little like gravel grinding in your throat, but it's genuine. The kind that sneaks up and warms your bones on the coldest nights. I trust him with my life. He knows when I'm lying about being okay. We share this running joke about how we should start a support group for nurses afraid of elevators. Because, yeah, we both heard the stories growing up. He'd always shake his head and say, maybe it's just some old urban legend, Liv. But deep down, I think even he felt something weird about nights after 12. Then there's my mom, Gloria. She's been a nurse for 40 years, now retired, but still the heartbeat of any family gathering. She raised me on long shifts and sandwiches wrapped in wax paper. They were always exactly the way I liked. No surprises, because once you're on nights, you cling to the little certainties. She called last Thursday night, right before my shift, as she did most nights off. It was a short call, just to say good luck. But something was off. Her voice cracked on the last word. I thought maybe she was tired or worried about Dad. I didn't know then it was a warning. And I can't leave out Jenna. She's the nurse manager on my floor, tough as nails and twice as kind, the kind of woman who won't let you slack, but also knows when your heart's breaking. She's been my mentor and friend since my first shaky night on the floor, guiding me with steady hands and quick advice. She's got this way of making the hospital feel less like a cage and more like a place where miracles still slip through the cracks. We sat together after a rough code last month, glasses clinking in the break room, whispering about dreams crushed and lives saved. Jenna's sarcasm is sharp, but when it's just us, there's no armor, only real, raw fear and hope tangled up. She's the one I called when the trauma alert came in, and she was glancing sideways at the elevator, like it bothered her more than she let on. Looking back, maybe I should have noticed then. The way Jenna's smile faltered just a little before she nodded me towards that damn elevator. Or how Mark was unusually quiet on the radio, his voice clipped, as if he was hiding something behind the noise. Even Mom's call, the sudden catch, lingered in my mind like a fading echo. That night, as I stepped into that cursed lift, I was dragging years of trust behind me, years of knowing these people had my back through every blood-soaked moment. Their faces flashed in my mind, their laughter, the stolen moments, the steady friendship that kept me human. But when the elevator doors opened onto that nightmare, all I could hear was silence and the faint, desperate whispers of those who had been trapped before me. I swear I'm not crazy. I'm still me. But part of me fears one of them, the ones I love. I don't even know where to start. It hit me like a punch out of nowhere. I was going through some old files Jenna left on her desk the other day. Nothing fancy, just the usual shift reports. But then my eye caught something odd, a folder labeled Personnel Records, her folder. I figured, why not? Maybe I could understand her better, see where she came from. I needed that right now. After all, after the elevator nightmare, trust was something I clung to like air. The first thing I saw was her picture. Same face, but beneath it, the documents looked odd. Off. Dates didn't add up. Birth year different by at least 10 years from what she told me. And the name wasn't Jenna, it was something else. Something I'd never heard her use. Heart hammering, I opened more files pinned underneath. Old emails, personnel applications. One file labeled Jane Marlowe. That name sounded familiar, because I'd heard it in a way I never thought connected to Jenna. I felt my hands tremble, my breath caught in my throat. I stared at a picture. Jenna standing in a hospital, but not this one. Different city, years ago. A scandal tied to malpractice. The report said she vanished, no trace, after accusations of falsifying records and covering up patient deaths. My chest squeezed tight. I hit the desk with a shaky fist. No, that couldn't be my Jenna. Not the one who'd held my hand when I almost lost it. The one who knew all my secrets. The one who laughed beside me in that break room, telling me I'd survive every nightmare. But it was there. Concrete, black and white. Witness statements from former coworkers, spelling out things she'd lied about. The fake credentials. The fake identity. The perfect mask. I remember the way she used to look at me. Always careful, measured. Was it all a game? How could I have been so blind? My phone vibrated. A text from her. Just a normal check-in. You okay? Heard about the big trauma alert. You need backup? I wanted to scream, to throw it across the room. Instead, I typed, "We need to talk, now." I rushed to her office. The hallway stretched out before me, silent and aching in the early morning light. My neck prickled with cold sweat. I pushed the door open. It was empty. Her desk looked untouched. Papers stacked perfectly, the half-drunk coffee gone cold. But Jenna herself was nowhere to be found. No note, no message, nothing. I called her over and over. Straight to voicemail. Left messages. Nothing. It felt like the air was gone from the room. Like she'd been here and just evaporated. I asked around, nurses shaking their heads. She left before I came in. Didn't see her all night. Never heard, "Where's Jenna?" like it mattered. Except to me. Because now, everything's shattered. The woman I trusted, who shaped me, lied to me. The friend who should have been my anchor is maybe a stranger. Or worse, someone I don't want to imagine at all. My hands are still shaking. My mind races with every memory. I hear her voice, see her smile, and it stabs at me like broken glass. I can't tell if I'm losing it or if this nightmare isn't done yet. But I know one thing. Jenna's secrets just pulled me deeper into the darkness. And now I don't know who else to trust. Since finding out about Jenna, everything's been spinning. I mean spinning, like I'm stuck on a carousel that won't stop. And the last thing I want is to get off, because what if it's all a lie? I tried to sleep the night after. Hours of staring at the dark ceiling. My chest kept tightening, like some invisible vice was squeezing me. I thought I heard whispers behind the walls, soft but urgent. I grabbed my phone to call Mark, but the screen went black. Just black. The next morning, I got to work and it was different. The place felt off, colder somehow. Like the fluorescent lights weren't just flickering, they were gasping. I passed the nurse's station and caught Mark's reflection in the glass. Only it wasn't quite right. His face blinked too fast, like a bad TV signal. I blinked hard, and he was normal again. But a cold pit opened up in my stomach. At lunch, I looked around. The usual chatter was gone, replaced by murmurs, tense and clipped. I overheard snippets. She's not who she said she was. Can we trust any of them? I thought I knew her. People glanced at me with half-hidden fear. I tried to catch Mark's eye, but he avoided me. Even Gloria, when I called after my shift, didn't recognize me. Her voice was distant, confused. She asked why I was calling so late, like I was a stranger tracking her down. I started tracing back through my day. Every conversation, every smile, every hug. And the cracks appeared. Little details I'd never noticed before. The hospital ID on my badge, the number was off. The pay stubs in my wallet, different dates, different amounts. My apartment key didn't open the door. I found a note slipped under the door. "You don't belong here. Stop looking." My hands shook as I tore through drawers. Pictures, emails, personal stuff. Half of it missing, the rest shredded. Even my phone looked wrong. Contacts I swore I saved were gone, replaced with numbers I didn't know. Mark texted me. "Meet me by the loading dock, now." I ran, heart pounding, lungs burning. When I got there, the lot was empty, except for an old delivery truck humming quietly. I waited, and Mark showed up, looking pale, eyes showing a panic I'd never seen before. "You shouldn't be here," he said, voice cracking. "They're watching, not just us. Everyone's tangled in this web. Your memories, mine, fake. All of it." I wanted to scream, but my throat locked up. The world bent and everything blurred, then jolted as a wave of dizziness hit. I clutched the railing, breath shallow and fast. Sweat drenched my clothes. Then the realization crashed over me like ice. This wasn't just about Jenna. It was bigger, way bigger. Mark leaned closer, whispering, "This place, they rewrite the past, rewrite us. You think you're alive? I'm starting to doubt that too." I staggered back, blinking tears. Panic curled in my gut, cold and fierce. I felt trapped, like a rat chained in a cage that keeps growing darker. Every name I trusted, every face I loved, maybe they were just masks, puppets, or ghosts. At home, or at what I thought was home, the walls closed in tighter every night. The silence was so loud it burned my ears, and shadows seemed to twitch just beyond the edge of vision. Sleep became a stranger. I counted hours with my eyes wide open, heart pounding like a trapped animal. I started seeing things. Glimpses of Jenna in the hallways, only she vanished when I blinked. Mark's laugh echoing down empty corridors. Gloria's voice, distant and distorted, calling me from nowhere. One night, my hands froze mid-text. My phone lit up with a message from an unknown number. "Stop digging, or you'll disappear like she did." My breath stuck in my throat. I tried to call Mark, but the call dropped the moment he answered. I'm scared. Not just worried or confused, deep down, gut-wrenching scared, because now I'm not sure if I'm safe, if those shadows are just in my head, or if they're real and waiting. The elevator story was just the start. The hospital, my life, my memories, they're all tangled in something dark, something I don't understand. And if I keep digging, I might disappear next, but I can't stop. I just can't. I don't even know how to say what happened next. Like it wasn't just weird, it was impossible. The kind of thing that shatters your whole mind. It started in the supply room. I was looking for bandages, heart pounding from how bad the day had been. The fluorescent lights flickered fast, then went dead. Total black. I froze. Couldn't hear a thing but my own ragged breathing. Then the lights snapped back on. But everything was off. The walls stretched. The room got too big, like a funhouse mirror stretched it beyond reason. I stepped forward but hit nothing. The floor had vanished beneath me, sheer black, like staring into a void. I stuttered, grabbing the edge of a counter. Cold sweat slicked my hands. And then, out of nowhere, Jenna appeared, just standing there. Same face, same smile, but her eyes were empty, dead, not human. I blinked. She didn't move, just stared at me with this awful calm, like she was reading me, peeling back my skin. But the worst part was her voice. It came not from her mouth, but inside my head. "You can't run," she whispered, cold as ice sliding down my spine. I dropped my breath. My throat clenched so tight tears threatened. I staggered back. The room warped again, twisting. The air hummed like metal bending. Then the hospital lights died everywhere. Emergency lights kicked in, flashing red like alarms from hell. Suddenly, I wasn't alone. Nurses poured in from the hallway, wide eyes, hands covering mouths. Mark was there too, gripping my arm like he was afraid I'd vanish. "Olivia, what the hell?" he gasped, voice shaky. She's not supposed to be here." I tried to speak, but my voice cracked into a whisper. Jenna, or whatever that was, smiled like she knew some secret no one else did. Then suddenly she flickered, like a bad TV signal breaking up, then was gone. The air snapped cold again. My skin crawled. Mark shook his head, breathing fast. This place, it warps time, changes memories. She's not just a fake nurse, she's a ghost. Or worse. Someone trapped here, twisting reality. I blinked hard and saw it. Shadows moving in the corners, faces missing from photos I'd just checked, names erased from charts, patients in beds that weren't there a minute ago. They whispered my name, not in their voices, but like a hiss crawling through the walls. "Olivia." A fragile voice broke the room. It was Gloria's voice, but coming from a monitor in the empty hallway. Static hiss took over words, distant and broken. Mark grabbed my hand, trembling. We're caught in this nightmare. The past collides with now. Time folds like paper. Jenna, she's part of it. I felt like the floor beneath me was cracking open. All my trust, every memory, got pulled and shredded by invisible hands. I wanted to cry, scream, run, but my legs felt like lead. Then Jenna appeared again, stepping out from the flickering shadows near the elevator, her eyes glowing like cold embers. "You belong here now. Don't fight it. You know too much." Her voice echoed, not just in the hall, but inside my head, sharper than shards. I saw other faces appear behind her, ghostly, empty, trapped forever. The nurses gasped, stepping back, some starting to sob. "It's real, so real," one whispered. "We're all part of it." Time broke apart then. Clocks spun madly, walls pulsing like a beating heart. My chest squeezed so tight I almost passed out. I looked at Mark, eyes wide in terror. I don't know what's real anymore." He shook his head slowly. "Neither do I. But whatever this is bigger than anything human. Life, death, everything in between, twisted by something." Jenna smiled again, that sick, terrible grin, before she vanished into the walls like a shadow slipping beneath a door. The hospital breathed a heavy, haunted sigh, And I knew with this cold certainty, everything I believed, it was a lie. A mask hiding a nightmare I never wanted to see. This wasn't just a bad secret or broken memories. This was hell bleeding into life. And I was trapped right in the middle of it. I don't know how to even say this. It's like the ground gave way beneath me and I'm still falling. Everything I thought I knew about me, about my life, was a lie. A cruel, twisted lie that's been stitched together like some sick patchwork. I found it hidden deep in the hospital's files, buried where no one should look. Patient records, security footage, experiment logs. And then the truth hit me like a freight train. I'm not who I've believed I am. Not Olivia Moore, the nurse who's been fighting through screens and blood for the last 7 years. I died years ago. The crash, my own car crash. It wasn't some random accident. It was real and final. They found my body mangled, broken beyond repair. But I never left, not fully. Somewhere between heartbeat and silence, I was snatched into something else. Something dark and cold. The hospital isn't just a building. It's a trap, a cage. A ghostly limbo where people like me get stuck, tethered to scraps of what they used to be. I'm a ghost. A shadow wearing the skin of a nurse. It twists your mind. Your memories don't belong to you. They feed you fake years, friendships, shifts, laughter that keep you tied down, chained in place. Even my friends, Mark, Gloria, even Jenna, they weren't real in the way I thought. They're echoes, reminders, sometimes cruel tricks designed to keep me here. The person who created this nightmare, the one who betrayed me, is Jenna, or what she once was before this darkness claimed her. She's the one who rebuilt my identity piece by piece, not out of kindness, but control. She told me the lies, kept me steady so I wouldn't break, so I wouldn't fight, so the nightmare could go on. I wanted to hate her. I really did. But something in her eyes in that flickering dark, it wasn't just cruelty. There was fear, regret, a desperate need to protect me from the real horror outside this prison. She whispered it once, voice cold but soft. Better to be here, caught in shadows you know, than face what's waiting beyond. What's waiting? I don't even want to say it out loud. But the hospital is like a thin veil, a brittle wall between the living and something else. Something hungry, endless. So now I'm screaming inside, my chest tight as steel bands. My hands tremble like leaves in a storm. I'm broken, lost in a place where time folds and memories bleed. And the worst part? I don't know if there's a way out. There's a choice waiting, though. Stay here, in this half-life, ghost among ghosts, forgotten but safe. Or push into the dark beyond the hospital's walls, the unknown, the real death. I'm standing at that edge, the cold whispers itching at my neck. My heart slamming against ribs like it wants to break free. I want out. But what if out means never coming back at all? What if choosing freedom is actually choosing to die twice? I don't know. I don't know if I can fight this nightmare. If my soul still clutches any piece of who I was, or if it's all just dust blown away. But I have to try. because even a shadow deserves to find the light, even if it burns. I'm standing in the basement corridor, cold seeping into my bones. The walls are lined with those rusted beds, the same ones from that nightmare floor. Shadows twist and curl, whispering around me like smoke. Jenna's voice curls inside my head again, soft but sharp. You have to choose. You can't run this forever. The air cracks with a low hum, the hospital itself groaning like a beast waking. I glance down at my hands. They're trembling, like leaves caught in a storm. My heart hammers so loud I swear the others can hear it. There are 2 doors in front of me. One leads out, light, freedom. But I know what waits beyond. It's the real death, the true dark. If I walk through that door, I'll vanish from this nightmare. But the cost? Mark, Mom, even the others trapped here, they stay behind, imprisoned forever in this twisted hospital hell. I'd save myself, but doom everyone I love. A selfish escape. The other door leads deeper inside, closer to Jenna's secret, to the truth. But that truth would swallow me whole. I'd lose everything that makes me human. My memories, my soul, my identity. I'd become pure darkness, a servant of this place. But if I accept it, maybe, just maybe, I can fight this from within, protect the ones left behind, even if I lose myself in the process. My breath catches. I think about Mark, the way he always laughed when the world was too grim. The way he pulled me back when I was drowning in my own fear. If I leave, he's trapped. Alone. Maybe broken. Mom's quiet strength, the way she used to say, "Nurses don't panic," like a shield against chaos. Would she cry for me? Or be angry I abandoned her? Ja. She's poison and protection wrapped in one. The only one who might understand what this place really is. If I take her path, I lose the me I am. I become something else. Someone not human. The hospital groans again. From the shadows, I hear faint voices, hundreds, maybe thousands of whispers. Some plead, some warn. Choose, they hiss. Do it now. I feel hands, cold, like dead leaves, brush my shoulder. Jenna's chilling touch. Only one can leave, she says. One life to live, or a million to suffer. What will it be, Olivia? My chest tightens to a breaking point. Tears sting my eyes. I want to scream, to rage, but I'm trapped in this awful silence. Everything inside me splits. Love against survival, truth against peace. The light door promises freedom, but at the price of a lifetime of ghosts. The dark door offers control, but steals my soul. I stagger forward. My feet falter at the fork. Save yourself, the whispers say. Stay and fight. Jenna's voice slices deep. The pain cramps my stomach. I can't breathe. I close my eyes. I choose the dark door. I have to protect them. Even if it's the last thing I do, even if I'm swallowed whole. My fingertips touch the cold handle. The instant I pull it open, a scream shreds the silence. Raw, terrible, the sound of 1,000 lost souls. The walls shudder. The shadows rush in, swallowing the light. My skin feels peeled back, naked to the cold. I step inside. The door slams behind me. I am no longer Olivia. I am something else now. But maybe, just maybe, I'm still enough. The moment I cross that threshold, into the darkness I chose, it slammed into me like a punch. The air went thick, heavy as wet wool. My lungs fought for breath that wasn't there. My skin prickled, like I'd been overexposed to cold for hours. I stumbled forward, but the ground wasn't steady. Shadows clung to my legs, pulling me deeper. I wasn't Olivia Moore anymore. I felt it in my bones. Somewhere inside me, something cracked, something shifted. My hands trembled, not just with cold, but with a strange, buzzing power. It was like electricity running through me, sharp and alive. A part of me ached, like losing a limb. The memories I held close, Mark's laugh, Mom's voice, the feel of a warm coffee mug in hand, they flickered on and off like a dying flashlight. But I gained something too. The darkness wasn't empty. It breathed, whispered, and roared with secrets no one on the surface could touch. I could see beyond the hospital's walls, catch glimpses of those trapped, suffering, fading. I could reach out, sometimes pull them back, give a flicker of hope. It was heavy, too heavy, but also necessary. Down here, time twisted. Days, nights, years slipped into one blurry stretch. The hospital's haunted corridors stretched endlessly, but I wasn't alone anymore. Faces pressed against my mind, some familiar, some strangers, echoes of lost souls begging for release. I felt their pain as if it was my own. Their misery tightened my chest like a vice. Mark, I tried reaching for him. His laugh once warmed the coldest nights, but he's on the other side now. I hear the rumors from those few who glimpse the edges. Mark's gone missing. Some say he's disappeared from the world, swallowed up just like me. The thought knifes my heart. The friend who kept me human, lost to the very shadows I now navigate. Mom, her voice, once so steady and sure, is now a fragile scrap I clutch in the dark. I tried calling her, but she doesn't remember me anymore. Or maybe she never did. The connection slipped through my fingers like smoke. The woman who showed me how not to panic, the anchor to my storms, now talks past me, confused, like I'm a stranger. Jenna, the woman who spun this tangled web, she's changed too. No longer the mentor or friend. She's a shade, a messy knot of sorrow and regret intertwined with something darker. Sometimes she appears, flickering at the edges of my vision, warning me. Other times, she disappears before I can reach out, leaving cold emptiness behind. I don't know if she's trying to help or harm me. There were moments I wanted to scream until my throat bled, to curse the gods or whatever trapped me here, to rage at the cruel irony of fighting to save others while losing the parts of myself that made me human. The pain screamed through every breath. Sleep deserted me. Every silent second was filled with distant moans and the crackle of broken machines. But the hardest was the loneliness. Though the basement stretched endless, crawling with restless shadows, I was alone. The hospital was a prison, yes, but also a battlefield. I became protector and prisoner, both. Every faint spark I could kindle for the lost, every shred of light I fought to hold, it's all I have now. A twisted, lonely purpose. I walk those haunted halls now, not as a nurse, not as Olivia, but something else. A shadow walking the line between worlds. The choices I made cost me everything I knew, but maybe, just maybe, they saved 1,000 others from slipping deeper into the dark. The weight crushes me daily, but I'm learning. I'm becoming what I must be. And though my heart aches for Mark, for Mom, for the life I lost, I keep moving forward. Because even here, in this endless night, somewhere deep in the cold and quiet, I still hold on, still fight, still hope. Months have slipped by like shadows stretching across a blank wall. The hospital stays shut in my mind, but it's with me every second, a ghost tattooed beneath my skin. I move through days like a half-remembered dream, always half watching, half listening for something that might snap me back to that basement corridor, to Jenna's voice like ice in my ear. I still can't shake the way my chest tightens without warning, like a fist squeezing down on my ribs, a cold grip that leaves me breathless for moments that stretch too long. Sometimes I catch a sudden hush in a crowded room and it twists my gut, like someone's just disappeared in front of me. Or there's a flicker in the corner, a twitch of shadow, and my hands start to tremble before I even know what I'm seeing. And I see her, Jenna, or something wearing her face, always just at the edge. Sleep is another war. Nightmares arrive uninvited. They don't let me rest. Dark halls open beneath my eyelids, echoing with muffled screams and that cold metal scent of the haunted elevator. I wake, gasp. Some pull away when I blink too long at empty corners or choke on sentences that don't make sense. Friends I once trusted now hover like fragile glass, afraid to crack the surface. Mark, we drifted apart. He says he can't carry the weight of things he can't explain. I get it. I'm a ghost now, tangled in a darkness most can't face. But not everyone runs. There's this small group I found, others caught in the invisible trap of impossible things. People who've touched shadows, who see cracks in the world's bright paint. We meet in quiet corners, sharing broken stories no one else would believe. We laugh sometimes, sharp, brittle laughs, like glass breaking, because that's all we've got to hold on to. Each of us carries scars, invisible but deep, carved by things that don't die. I'm learning from them. How to live with the silence in my bones. How to hold light even when it's flickering. How to keep walking when every step feels like sinking. They don't fix me. Nothing can. But they make the dark a little less crushing. Joy is different now. It's quieter, smaller. A sunbeam on cracked concrete. A laugh shared in the break room. A letter slicked under my door, unsigned, just saying, "You're still here." That line knocks the breath out of me every time. Hope in a sliver. Trust? Huh, that's harder. I see faces and wonder which mask hides the truth, which eyes know darkness, which smiles lie. Sometimes I find comfort in strangers, people whose pasts ripple with their own nightmares. A fellow traveler in a world that twists under something too old and cruel to name. And the hospital? It still calls. Not in the way of memory, but in shadows bleeding through cracks, sudden chills in hallways, echoes of whispers no one else hears. Lights flickering, not from bulbs, but from broken time. Once in a while, when I'm near, I swear I see the elevator doors tremble open, but no one's there except a flicker of a smile and a voice, low and sharp. You can't leave. I used to think choosing the darkness was surrender. Now I know it's just the first step in a fight that never ends. The hospital's story isn't finished with me. And neither am I. So I carry the pain, the scars, the whispers, the endless night. Because even a shadow has to keep moving, even when it hurts like hell. I thought I'd reach the end, that after everything, the darkness, the lies, the ghosts, I finally had clarity. But no, it wasn't over. Not even close. Last night, I found something I wasn't supposed to see. A door. Not the one I chose. Not light, not dark. Something else. Hidden behind the supply closet where no one goes. It was cracked open just a sliver, and there was a sound. A low, steady pulse. Like a heartbeat, but wrong. Mechanical, alive. I peeked in. Walls covered with screens flickered, showing scenes I couldn't believe. Rooms filled with beds, faces frozen in pain, smiles that didn't quite reach the eyes. But the worst? People moving like puppets, trapped in endless loops. Shifts repeating over and over, nurses handing out meds to empty beds, doctors writing notes that never get read. And I saw myself, or someone wearing my face, going through the motions, trapped in that endless echo. Then the truth hit me like a fist. This place doesn't just hold ghosts, it creates them. It's a machine, a factory, breaking souls, stitching memories, looping lives so no one ever truly leaves. Jenna wasn't just a ghost or a liar. She was the guard, the keeper, the one who rewound the tapes and put us back on the stage, play after play. And me? I wasn't trapped in a hospital. I was trapped in their story. A story they can rewrite, erase, and replay. The elevator, the basement, Mark, Mom, they don't exist out there. Only here, inside this endless show. Their voices, their laughter, their echoes fed to me, poison disguised as comfort. What I thought was real was just a loop, a cruel lullaby keeping me tied to the spinning wheel. I stumbled back, chest burning, breath ragged. The rooms closed in, the screens multiplying. Glares from empty eyes boring into me, and then the voice, not Jenna's. Something else, deep and cold, whispering through the static. You see now, you never left. You never will. And neither will they. I dropped to my knees, hands trembling, sweat slick on my skin. Every piece of hope shattered into 1,000 sharp edges. If I'm here, do I exist at all? Or am I just a shadow they feed? And if that's true for me, what about you? That's what scares me most. Because if a place like this can pull you in, erase your past, rewrite your life, trap you in a nightmare dressed like routine, then what if the same thing is happening elsewhere? In hospitals, offices, homes, behind doors you never dared open. The people you love, the parts of yourself you count on, maybe they're fading too. Swallowed by invisible things you can't fight. And the worst? You won't see the elevator. You won't hear the whispers. You'll just wake up feeling the empty spaces between words. The way familiar faces blink a little too fast. The way your reflection sometimes hesitates before it looks back. Because the darkness, it's patient. It waits and it's hungry. If you ever feel your memories shift, your past blur, your world unravel, run. Don't look back, because the nightmare isn't behind you. It's already inside. And maybe, just maybe, you're next.